Production of Broad and High is funded in part by the Greater Columbus Arts Council, supporting arts, advancing culture, and connecting the community to artists, events, and classes at columbusmakesart.com.
This time on Broad and High, we'll bring you the work of a local fashion designer.
Once a year since 1982, I do a fashion show where I preview my new collection. And so this is the 34th year of doing that.
And explore origami in the garden at Franklin Park Conservatory.
Origami in the garden is inspired by, obviously, Japanese paper folding.
This and more right now on Broad and High. Welcome to Broad and High. I'm your host, Kate Quickle, and I'm really excited to bring you the story of local fashion designer Vasi Douglas. For 30 years, she's been creating some amazing one-of-a-kind fashions using no patterns. Her free-flowing style is reflected in the clothing and accessories seen during her annual runway show, where we had a front row seat.
Even when I was a child, before I went to school, I would draw fashion. I wanted to be a fashion designer. I didn't think I'd have to sew. I thought I would just create these outfits and somebody would sew them because I'd be so fabulous. I didn't start sewing until I was 25, so that's one thing. So when I first started sewing, the drawings that I was doing were looking like Vogue patterns. So of course I'm buying Vogue patterns, and they're kind of hard to do because you gotta buy the pattern, then you gotta cut out the pattern, then you gotta pin it to the fabric, you gotta cut that out, then you gotta follow. Oh, it makes my head hurt. It evolved over years. I didn't do great right off, that's for sure. But what inspires me is fabric and color and texture, and I just get excited about all that. That's exciting to me. I do hats, jewelry, jackets. One of my favorite things to do are jackets. I do jackets out of upholstery fabric. I think that's what I'm best known for. When you think about it, it's really high quality, it's good textures. Sometimes you use front and back. I love upholstery. Now the show that I'm doing next month is once a year since 1982, I do a fashion show where I preview my new collection. And so this is the 34th year of doing that. And I will be sewing and making jewelry and purses and hats up until they take the sewing machine and say, okay, the models are here to try their clothes on. I have two lines. I have Vasi Designs, which is like maybe like what I have on, kind of maybe everyday wear type of things more. And then I have the Alvoice collection, which is my higher end collection. This show is going to be a whole show of the Alvoice collection. That's something I've never done before, so it's exciting and scary. But it'll be probably 100 and something pieces. Yeah, because I have like 18 models. I like colors, and I like putting things together that are unusual. I think a lot of people, if they lose a little weight or gain a little weight, they can still fit my outfits. And they're changeable because you can wear them frontwards, backwards, sometimes upside down, because they're not structured. I like outfits that when you walk in a room, you might love them, you might not love them, but you're going to notice them because they're going to be different. I love people, I love fashion, I like color. And I just want to leave something, a legacy when I leave, that people love my clothes, they're easy to wear. I want to also be a nice and a spiritual person.
Find Vasi Douglas on Facebook to learn more about her fashion designs as well as her annual runway show. The artists in this next segment are taking the traditional Japanese art form of origami to new heights at Franklin Park Conservatory. This paper folding technique actually has real-life practical applications and can be seen in advanced technology designs like airbags, satellites, and even heart stents. Could it be the perfect blend of art and science? Judge for yourself, because this work goes way beyond paper cranes and airplanes.
For years, people thought like insects and spiders and the like were impossible from a single sheet of paper because they had too many appendages.
In origami, we can engineer all this complexity without scissors or without tearing.
Origami in the garden is inspired by, obviously, Japanese paper folding. But what originally inspired me about to create the process and these techniques was the philosophy of tabula rasa, which is a Greek philosophy of beginning with a blank slate. And so every decision we make, every thought that we create is what determines our outcome. And so origami is a simple metaphor for that because every piece starts with a simple blank piece of paper. And so the idea that every fold is like a decision and the outcomes can be different depending on what your decisions are sort of inspired the concept of following through with origami in the garden. Every piece in origami in the garden and every piece that I create does begin with a single blank page. And so it's either folded or creased or crumpled into the design. And then I pioneered a technique that uses the lost wax casting process, which is a 6,000-year-old technique that typically starts with a clay original. And so I use the paper original and then I engineer the paper with wax to work within the casting process. When I first began embracing origami in my own catalog of work, I was told about this amazing Asian legend that if you make 1,000 cranes, you'll have a wish come true. And so I thought, wow, wouldn't that be amazing to build a single sculpture of 1,000 cranes? So the challenge is engineering 1,000 cranes into one statue, because you can see the 500 cranes standing above, and in the reflection you can see the 500 cranes that aren't present with us but do exist. And a lot of my work is designed to engage this idea of what we see and what we don't see. And so the reflection really comes back to that theme of what's going on beneath the surface, who's important in our lives that may not be with us today but are still affecting us. And so you can see the 4 different sizes represent 4 different generations, and in the reflection it goes the opposite direction. We work with origami masters from around the world, primarily American artists though, that have developed incredible new techniques of folding and get amazing detail. We have Dr. Robert J. Lang, who's one of the world's most famous origami artists and a physicist.
In addition to the art of origami, there are applications of origami. You can use folding to make things that deploy, that open and close by folding, and use the techniques of origami. And so people have, over the last 20 years, used origami techniques to make heart stents and telescopes and airbags and many more devices in the engineering world. And because I come from that engineering background, I could use the language of engineering to describe the concepts of origami and work with companies and universities and groups who are doing these applications of folding. This is a crease pattern. It's a plan of the most important folds in the origami shape, and in this case it's this praying mantis. So there's a lot of information encoded in this pattern. Solid lines are mountain folds shaped like that. And dashed lines are valley folds that go that way. And every crease pattern, every origami design, no matter how complicated, is still just mountains and valley folds. But there's also color here. And the color tells me the direction of the fold within the model. Every single green line there is going to end up running right along the middle of the folded design. That piece of paper would have started at about 20 inches, 18 to 20 inches. And another thing that made it possible to do something that's as complicated as this is that the paper is both very, very thin and very strong. And as it turns out, the paper that this is folded from is a type of paper called Robert Lang insect paper, designed and created by Michael LaFosse.
Well, here's my origami alligator that is folded from a single 6-foot square sheet of paper, only folding, no cuts. It's about 50 total hours of folding. You put 50 hours in folding an alligator, you want that to last. So I learned about the chemistry and the mechanics of making paper. I chose plant fibers that were very strong and clean them up well, grind them properly, and then color them with permanent pigments. Then you screen them out, press them and dry them, and you have paper.
And since origami is made from paper and paper is made from plants, we thought that was a really great combination and a way to connect to the programming at the botanical gardens that we're showing at.
Origami in the Garden is on view at Franklin Park Conservatory through November 13th. Visit fpconservatory.org for details. Our next story takes a look at two Dayton artists who are working to create and to celebrate large works of public art. And their murals also have a dual purpose: to fight against neighborhood blight and personal addiction.
When I was younger, I ended up falling in love with an artist and musician, and eventually became a functioning heroin addict. And after 4 years of that, he ended up ODing, and I kind of hid away for a couple years. And eventually I just had to reawaken myself. I've been sober for 3 years, and I've come from what is below the bottom and just found it in myself to work the way back up, that there is a way up. Most people have forgiven me and know that I am working for better, not just for myself, but for the community and separate human beings individually. But I know it's hard for some people to hear or see that, so I want them to see it. I was lucky enough to get asked to do that Poppy mural, and I spent like a year planning it and then realized I didn't know what the heck I was doing, and Chris made big stuff, and he was really cute too, so I thought I would ask him for some help, and help turned into a beautiful artistic relationship as well as the other relationship.
I just got introduced to painting graffiti with the skateboarding culture, and it just became a complete obsession. And that was in the early 90s, and it just never stopped and never will stop. All of us are obsessed with something. Then like artists, people see their obsessions, and it's like more of an accepted, like, oh, you paint all the time, that's cool.
Thank you.
Collaborating with another artist, this is kind of interesting because usually we'll have the idea, and then maybe she starts sketching on paper, and then I'll start painting the background with like a spray paint, and then she'll add that on top of it. It's like collaging, and then I might go back and add more paint on top of her painting.
It really depends on what the project is, because we have such different styles. I'll illustrate it out, and then he'll maybe do the rest of the stuff in the sketching. So it's that mixture of his spray paint and the brushwork, that back and forth layering till we decide together that it looks right. And as much as we pre-plan ahead of time, it is all spontaneous. We just kind of have an idea and let it grow as it happens, because it's all an experiment. I feel like it's the job of the artist to tell people what they need to see. I mean, that's why we create stuff, is to share that imagery that's in our brain. So yes, it has to be so that the community will enjoy it, but I enjoy pushing those boundaries to kind of open people's eyes to different things. Like if you're not an addict or don't know anything about heroin, the Poppy mural, it's a bunch of poppies to you, but it's gonna be an opiate recovery center. The more that we get to make our own art, but with that twist where it's part of the environment, it's part of the community, I feel like that's helpful to us. It gets our artistic whatnots out, and it's hopefully something that the community will enjoy.
In a way, you're creating a chance or an image that people can talk about or tell a story, and then they'll go tell their friends, and they, oh, I saw this and that, and like, no, I saw this, and you know, it's the connection thing. You're creating a catalyst for people to connect or talk to each other about something new or unique or larger than life in their environment.
I feel like now that I have more honesty in my work, that more people are able to connect. People enjoyed my landscapes. I'm a great landscape painter, but you just walk right by it. When you make work that people say, hey, that's in my soul too, they connect with it for that moment, and then when I get that conversation with them, the back and forth, that's even better, and I give them that moment of being vulnerable and that ability to let themselves out as well. It's a rarity that I feel like we do that in today's society, but it's the only thing that will heal us. We're very separated. Our floor spaces of our houses are getting bigger, but our connections with people are getting less and less. I think we need to reverse that. Our environment is a reflection of ourselves. We're very colorful in this town. There are so many little niches of people here that are doing their own thing and growing with whatever their little project is. I feel like the more that you give back as far as color in their lives, the more they tend to give us back. I don't think there should be any gray buildings in town. I plan on painting, or at least having other people paint most of them.
I always feel like it's like our artwork's living, and it's almost hard when like we're done with the piece. I'm like, it's been changing for the past week, and then the question is like, where do you stop? You know, when is it done, or is it ever done?
When we have to go on to the next job.
Yeah, when we run out of time. All right, we fell asleep. Pain's done now.
When the sun sets.
Yeah.
Keep up with the Mural Machine and follow their latest art projects by visiting their Facebook page. Now here's a different breed of muralists. They're known as the Wall Dogs. It's an international movement of sign painters and mural artists who each year gather in one lucky town to paint old-fashioned wall advertisements. Just take a look at what happened when they descended upon Delavan, Wisconsin for a 4-day mural painting marathon.
Having a Wall Dog event is like opening up an artist studio, and anybody can watch and see from start to finish how we prepare all this art.
The Delavan Wall Dog project was brought up about 3 years ago by Brad and Kit Bando. They own Brushfire Signs. And he and his wife, Kit, are wall dogs. They thought it'd be neat to bring it to this area, and they thought that Delavan had the most to offer. So they approached the Downtown Business Association and started talking to them about the project and how they think that it could impact Delavan.
The Delavan Wall Dogs is basically just the community that we're in, Delavan, Wisconsin, surface town, and they're inviting other artists from this community that have never done this before and paint with us.
We can't do any business that is still in business, because this is not advertising, this is all history.
Primarily what we do is we celebrate the history.
Yeah, of the town.
We go back in the history of the town to find out the most important things and try to include that.
Delavan is ideal for a Wall Dog event because the history isn't singularly focused. It started as a temperance colony, so the people who founded it didn't believe in alcohol, slavery. They had like people move here so they could have a place where they could live with people like themselves. And then the circus came in, and the Mabee brothers decided to start their winter quarters here. They chose Delavan because it was so similar to their hometown in New York, and many other circuses followed. Then there's the artist colony here at the turn of the century. The Chicago Art Institute held classes, summer classes here, and drew not only lots of artists here, but it also became a tourist trade. Tourists would start coming to watch the artists paint.
That's mainly what we went for, was their history, and they had a lot of good walls. Delavan's got the brick street, it's an older town, it's perfect, it's perfect. All the right walls, all the right subjects.
Like a lot of old communities are struggling in their downtown areas because of all the modernization moving out of town.
And this always brings tourism. People always, they hear about that the murals are here, people just love it.
And other towns that have had the Wall Dogs come have seen that. The Wall Dogs arrive on Wednesday. That night, they project their artwork after the sun goes down, sometimes with a digital projector, sometimes with an overhead. And they're on ladders and scaffolding with Sharpies, and they're tracing their artwork. They have it projected on the wall, and they're tracing. Then Thursday morning, they start painting. So they're painting all day because they have just 4 days to finish up these big murals that normally would take a lot longer, but they do have a lot of people working on it at once.
We have people from Germany is the furthest away, and Canada. We have a lot of guys from Georgia, Florida, a new person from Arizona. We pretty much covered the whole United States. I don't think we have a state we haven't hit this time. And I think our total number is about 160 artists that showed up.
It's quite a legacy.
Yeah. And they love it, and that's what it's all about. Painting, teaching, sharing what we know. When we're done, we'll have 18 murals.
We did the first mural. Our mural depicted the legacy of Elmer Gauger, who was a local artist. And he was a fine artist, but he was also a sign painter. So he took the flavor of Delavan and just spread it everywhere. He took photos of everything. So it was a surprise for everybody to go back in their father and grandfather's legacy and just visit the places he was at and the things he did.
One of them is a children's mural done by the local high school teacher.
So we also have P.T. Barnum. He started his circus here in Delavan, and over a period of time there was 38 circuses that either started here or merged here. There was a cigar factory, which we didn't know.
We have the Big Band's Ballroom. I talked to the art club from Lake Geneva, and one of the ladies, when we were talking, said, I used to come to the dances at the ballroom, so we're honoring that. The Red Devils, they had a semi-pro football team in Delavan, so we're honoring the Red Devils, and we're surprised how many people still knew about that.
And the Red Devils started the same year as the Packers started.
Yep. Yeah, so they're extra popular.
Yeah.
Yes. The boats, the history of the boats on the lake, we're celebrating that.
The most prized mural that they wanted to see was something for the deaf school.
Yeah.
Which was amazing, above the circus.
We're using acrylic-based paints, quicker dry time, they blend a little easier. When we're done, these walls will be clear coated, and then maybe every other year we'll put a clear coat on, and they should last a very long time.
We have several of the murals located downtown, but we are trying to keep them in groupings that people would be able to see several by walking around. So you're able to drive past some and walk around, and I think they're well placed.
And people were just walking around, thanking the artists, and the artists stop and they talk because, it's a great time. They want to get to know the artists. Artists want to get to know the history about the town, about their subject. There's always a story.
Passion drives this.
We all love to paint. We don't get to do it every day, So and then when you get to paint with your friends, that's the best.
We serve a function. We're an educational group too.
Yeah.
We're bringing the past to the future.
I want them to walk away with pride in their town. Now they can say, we're a Wall Dog town, we've got some awesome history, and I want them to start coming back downtown.
That's the type of movement that the Wall Dogs are. We're trying to make positive change.
We have a history of art, and so it's important to share that, and it's important for anybody coming to visit here. They're going to be able to learn through art. And we know after it's done that we're going to have something to be really proud of.
That's our show. We want to give a big shout out to our friends here at 400 West Rich in Franklinton. Make sure you keep up with us at WOSU.org and check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're closing today's show with music by the Hot Pink Racers. This Columbus band devotes its music to raising awareness for breast cancer charities. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here next week on Broad and High.
Production of Broad and High is funded in part by the Greater Columbus Arts Council, supporting arts, advancing culture, and connecting the community to artists, events, and classes at columbusmakesart.com.